guys! In today's video, I'm going to be doing a 100% honest review of famous and underrated slime shops, and these are some of the most creative shops I've ever come across, so I'm so excited to show you them. First up, we have probably the most amazing slime I've ever been sent in my life, and this is a Ramen Slime Kit from Talisa Slimes, and everyone's been talking about this recently. It's so clever. Everything in the slime comes separately packaged, so you get to make this yourself, and it's so fun because you get to add the slime and see it rise for 2 hours, and then all the noodles rise to the top, and it creates such a cool effect. And then you add all your toppings. Most of them are made out of clay, and there are a few flown beads which add a really nice texture to it. And then when you mix it up, I was expecting the noodles to just kind of dissolve in really quickly like Dozo does, but even though this clay was really soft to mix in, it just stayed as noodles, which I loved. I thought this was a really cool effect. It looked like I was mixing in the noodles in the soup, and then when I mixed it in, it ended up looking like nacho cheese, and this was so fun to play with. It didn't smooth really easily on the table, like you couldn't drag it like you would Dozo slimes, but this is a super different textured slime. I really liked playing with it, and it inflated so much, as you can see here. The slime is expensive, but there's 10 ounces of clay in there and 8 ounces of slime, so it works out to be 18 ounces. Everything came really well packaged. None of it was bubble wrapped and none of it leaked, which I was really impressed with, but it's all super sealed up. And the clay toppings are also so well packaged. The flat ones come between 2 plastic layers, and the egg one came with plastic layer on the top and then cling film on the bottom. None of them dried up whatsoever, and it was an international flight, so I was so impressed by how well this lasted. And she also gave me these lovely extras. Most of them are clay, there's some sweets, and I'm not sure what's in the pipette. I think it's clay as well. When I opened Jammy Slime's package and saw Lara Jean in there, I was so excited. I loved all the boys I loved before, as I know many of you guys do, and this is based off the movie, as it comes with a scrunchie. If you guys know the plot, you'll know why. Slime itself is really nice. It's a clay textured slime, but it isn't a butter, so it doesn't spread super easily, but it's really holdable and fun to play with. It's scented like strawberry bubblegum, and like I said earlier, it does come with this gorgeous scrunchie. Unicom bubblegum was absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, it's such a vibrant pink colour, and I've never received a slime this colour, so I was in love with it. I kept playing with it. As you can see, it's also super thick, and this is it straight out of transit. I think it was in the mail for probably about 2 weeks, and it didn't melt at all, which I was just so impressed by, because slimes always melt, especially if they're clear, and this had a really unusual scent. I was expecting this to just be a really sweet bubblegum scent, but this is more of a cinnamon bubblegum, and it was so gorgeous. Fruit Loops milkshake was so hard to handle at first because all of the slime had sank to the bottom and there wasn't much slime in it anyway, so when I mixed it all up I was so surprised to see it was just all sticking together and worked really nicely. Normally I like a lot more slime in my slimes, but this was just a really gorgeous texture, so crunchy, and the smell was absolutely gorgeous as well. I think it was like a mix of cereal milk and rainbow sherbet. It was just so nice to play with, and the crunches are amazing. If you love crunchy slime, you're definitely gonna like this. For extra, she gave me a slime activator in a spritzer, which I thought was really cool, some candies, and also one of those wristbands. Next up, we have Snoop Slime's Barbie slime, and I was so excited to try this because in my first ever slime review, I actually reviewed her Barbie slime, and it's improved so much, so I wanted to make a standalone review on it. As you can see, this is just so pigmented. It's so shiny as well. Like, I always find that a lot of pigmented slimes go cloudy after a bit, but this took a while to go cloudy. And one thing I noticed that was really different was that the smell wasn't overpowering, but it was definitely so much more prominent than the one from a year ago. This smelled so good. It was like a light rose scent, and I just thought this was lovely. For extra, she sent a slime care sheet, some borax, and also Zots, which are my favourite sweets ever. The next slime is from a Singapore slime seller, and they are called Crafty Slime. The best thing about this was obviously that it was so clear, but it was a very different brand of glue to Elmer's, and this was so thick from the get-go. It didn't feel like it had any glycerin in there, but it was just so naturally thick, so unbelievably clear. As you can see here, it literally looks like water, so it's very fitting to the name. This isn't scented because oils generally just cloud up the slimes, but it was just amazing to play with, and I've never felt a slime that was different to Elmer's, which is a clear slime, so this was just the best thing for me. If you love clear slimes, I definitely recommend it. The slime came bubble wrapped and nothing leaked, and for extras they included a slime care sheet and also some borax. The next slime shop is definitely one of the best slime shops I've ever tried, and if I were to do a top 5 slime shops right now, this would definitely be included. Their white slimes are amazing, and so are their clear slimes, but the white slimes feel just like Slime OG's white slimes. This one's called Chocolate Chip Cookie Dough, and oh my goodness, the smell is amazing. It kind of has like a strong vanilla base, I would say, but it definitely smells like a cookie. I couldn't stop playing with this. The slime was so thick, even when inflated. I normally find that when they're really puffy, they just don't feel thick anymore, but this one definitely did, but it still stretched a ton, didn't rip at all, and I just love the texture with all the foam beads in there. This slime does confuse me a bit because in real life it just looks like a grey slime with some glitters in there, but as soon as you put it under studio lights it comes out like green with purple undertones, which I don't mind. Obviously it looks great, but it doesn't look like this in real life. It has a really thick putty texture. It still stretches so much, so it's kind of like a putty slime hybrid, and I love playing with this. Even when it's melted down, it just turns into a really thick slime, so I don't think there's anything wrong with this slime. If you don't mind the colour being grey in real life, I think you guys will really enjoy it. I know I did, and I love the scent as well. It's kind of like a candy scent, I would say. I love how fool's gold look when no one was touching it. It looks like there's pigments just suspended in water. It doesn't even look like slime in my opinion, and then as soon as you touch it, it just turns so metallic and gorgeous. It isn't as thick as Cosmo water, but I really enjoyed it. It's just like a normal thick slime, and then when you get it all cloudy, it just looks like honey. I just don't think there's anything wrong with this whatsoever. I think this one's unscented, and it also has really great bubble pops. All of the slimes in their shop were amazing, but the white slimes really stood out for me, and this was no exception. This is taro milk tea, and it comes out blue, but then in the center there's purple, and this happens every time it sits, so it's probably just the dye they use, but I love mixing this in. I love having the color shift, and I love the texture of this. It's really thick and fun to play with. I love slimes this colour. I think this is probably one of my favourite colours ever, and I just fell in love with this. It smells just like the Cosmo water. It's a thick clear slime, it's just a normal slime, but I love how the pigment shines through even though these slimes are scented, and it's so shiny. It doesn't really get cloudy super easily, and then when it does, it doesn't take that long to clear up. Witch's Brew is actually a Halloween slime they sent in November before they sent the full review, but I included it anyway just because I really liked it, and this is a super thick clear slime. It isn't scented like the other clear slimes, but it has a really nice pigment to it, and I've played with this so many times before filming this and it hasn't lost its shine or lost any pigment to it, so I just think this slime is great, and overall this slime shop is amazing. For extras, they included some model light, which I buy off them all the time, some foam beads, and also some candy, which I've eaten most of. As you can see, these are basically all wrappers. And then there was standard stuff like borax, akashi, and also some standard slime extras. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.